All right, guys. So we are going to be talking about everything you need to know about Dallas, Texas. We are going live on the map. As you can see, my business partner, Brandy, she is live. And I just noticed we got the same baseball cap. So, but yeah, we are going to talk about Dallas, Texas. So if you are interested in moving, make sure you hit that red subscribe button to know everything you need to know about living, working, playing, eating in Dallas. And listen, guys, we give this information away completely for free. But if you're moving, let's call, use a text. We definitely got your back when moving to Dallas. So as you can see, we got this map right here, and we're just ready to just shoot off. We're just gonna go briefly over each little section because we're so passionate about this. And if we go in detail, we'll literally be talking about this for hours. So I'm gonna get to it right now. What's up, Brandy?
What's going on? Well, as they can see, people do not express enough how many cities and subsidies are in the DFW Metroplex. So if they look at this map, they can see it is well over 50 cities in those two communities combined. So it's a bit overwhelming. So that's why y'all need us, because it's overwhelming. You didn't know. So
trust me, I've lived in a few different cities. I'm from Virginia. I went to school in North Carolina, but I moved to Houston. I was so lost. I was contacting frat brothers, like, where should I move? But even then, they're like, here's a map, figure it out yourself. And I didn't know what to do. And Phoenix was the same thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just live in Phoenix, but it wasn't the best option. I figured that out about like a month, and I was like, oh, I could have definitely lived here after I then signed my lease or whatever. So definitely we want to make sure we're getting you guys on the right track. That way, when you move to Dallas, you're happy and you're satisfied and you're living in the best place that fits you and your family's needs.
And then they can also use this map to kind of see how far stuff is, because it gives you an idea at least. So if you're trying to,
Where you located?
I'm in White Settlement. So I'm west, it's a little small town west of Fort Worth.
So this is where Brandy lives, right here.
Yeah.
So Brandy lives right here in White Settlement. I'm sorry, we're gonna get to the video, but this is Fort Worth. She said West White Settlement. So we're gonna show you everything. We're gonna break down everything. So White Settlement, and this is just kind of like real. So Dallas, Texas. White Settlement to Dallas, it is 10:34, so traffic done died down. So if you were to live in White Settlement, it's gonna take you about 41 minutes
to get to Dallas.
So Brandy,
center located Dallas. That's just right at the edge of downtown Dallas. That's not going into Dallas. Yeah. As you can see, it'll take me a little bit longer, but just to get me right at the downtown center of Dallas, it takes me about 45 minutes to an hour. That's with no traffic.
No traffic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna adjust my camera a little bit. Now my head, now I gotta slouch down a little bit.
Anyway, I think that's something that they need to know, because if you got friends, let's just say, when I moved here, I didn't have a specific area. I was going based off the school district. So I Googled where the best school districts were, and then I looked for the towns in the suburbs around that school district. So that's kind of how I ended up.
Do that kind of right now and just explain, or do you just want to go through the whole video?
What do you mean?
We can Google best school districts
in the DFW or like in the Fort Worth area, and then the programs. Yeah, and then the programs.
Just kind of explain like what relation to it, and we can explain the best, what each city has to offer. And by the way, I'm not cutting out any of this. So all of this is off the rip. Thank you guys for staying on. Yeah. We should definitely do a live video, actually, Brandy, and just kind of do this.
I think that'd be real good, because I don't think people, I'm going to keep stressing, I don't think people realize how many cities are in the DFW Metroplex. And so they need to know that gives them options. So don't get overwhelmed, because they give you options, but you don't want to move here and your friends tell you they live in Plano. And so now you're looking for somewhere to live. And then you look up at Corinth and you're like, well, damn, Corinth about 45 minutes away from my friend, and you didn't know. So it's best to kind of have some type of idea and pinpoint what area you want to live around or close to. Because go ahead.
Everybody be talking about Plano, North Dallas. They be talking about Plano, and they be talking about Frisco, McKinney, Forney right here, but nobody ever talks about Fort Worth. So if you were to get a job in downtown Fort Worth, we're just gonna say, we're just gonna show what that looks like. So we're gonna type in Plano, Texas. So Plano to Fort Worth, and that might not be conducive for you, but there's so many other suburbs around Fort Worth that has mainly the same benefits. But everybody likes to, sorry guys, this is my first time doing this. Everybody likes to talk about Plano, Frisco. So if you had a job in Fort Worth, it's going to take you about 50 minutes using a toll roll. It says this route has tolls, and let's see if it don't say how much the tolls are going to be. But let me move that real quick, a little bit. But yeah, Plano to Fort Worth going to be about 50 minutes. So just wanted to add that little tidbit in there.
But then we also want to add, if they can look to see, we go all over here just to give you guys the best suburbs. So we've literally hit maybe about 20 cities on this map, because Dre is in Grand Prairie, which is kind of in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth.
Let me show them where that is, okay? So
he's literally in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth.
Grand Prairie, and I love it here. So Grand Prairie is right here. So Grand Prairie, you got Dallas, you got Fort Worth, and you got Arlington. So I'm literally near all the action. Not saying that Grand Prairie is the best place, but if you're especially on this I-20 side, definitely a great place to live. They have a lot of new build communities on the street that I live on. It's called Forum, I think Forum Drive or something. But if you live on Forum or just on the I-20 side, the Grand Prairie outlets are right here. You got the Highlands, which is a really cool place where you can go eat. They got the Parks Mall, Epic Waters, which is a indoor water park. And then you have Six Flags right here, Six Flags over Texas, Arlington. So pretty much, I love it here. I can go on and on. What else you want to talk about, Brandy?
But that shows them, because we've done, where have we done? Colleyville, we've done
Colleyville right here.
Yeah, we've done.
You can get some $1 million homes at Colleyville, Keller, South Lake. And then look at that, Colleyville, Keller, South Lake, they got $1 million homes, probably in the $800,000 price range for the median price of a home. But look, it's convenience to the DFW metroplex. I mean, the DFW International Airport. So if you want to be close to the airport and you want that $1 million home, or you want houses that are a little bit spread out within that higher price point, you'll definitely find that in South Lake or Colleyville.
Yeah. And then even look at how far we've gone, even as doing Forney, DeSoto. We've done all of this. Look at how far we go to kind of show you guys all the options, because even though they're far out, an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, they're still part of the metroplex. So that gives you a bunch of options. I mean, I think we did Rockwall.
We drove past Rockwall. Or did we drive past
Rockwall? Okay.
One thing, look, remember when we drove past Rockwall? We was looking for one of the clients a house, and they were interested in Rockwall, and I didn't know this about Rockwall. So if you like that lake living, they got that. See all this water. They had a pier. They had a bunch of boats, and I'm pretty sure you can go fishing. But if you also look at Rockwall, you notice that it's kind of you have to take a bridge to get across to Dallas. So kind of spread out. But if you want newer houses, they have a lot of newer communities out there. Heath, a lot of newer communities. But it just depends on where you want to be in the metroplex. So if you live in Garland, on the east side of Garland, might be a good place for you. But if you live on the west side of Garland, or north, I said Garland, I meant Dallas. if you live on the west of Dallas, it might not be a good commute for you.
So just kind of getting an idea of where you want to live. I would always give the best advice is, my decision was based off the school district for me. I don't mind driving to work, even before I was self-employed, but for me, it was a school district. So I find that it's easier if you have an area that you kind of have an idea of where you want to live. So if you have a job then look for best areas to live for the cost of living near your job, and then you can look up the commute, or if you do like if you have a friend or family that you want to kind of live close to your family, then maybe that's something also to kind of look into, so that it'll help narrow down your search. Or if it's price point, you can Google the price point of the schools that you want to go to, you know what I mean? Because that kind of helps as well.
And I really like the fact that you brought up the school districts, because all of these school districts are mainly located in the North Dallas area. So Highland Park Independent School District, Carroll, these are the top 5. So when you're looking for school districts, what kind of what ranking would you look for?
It just depends on the programs. I had high school kids, so I was looking for international baccalaureate programs. I was looking for college course programs, something that is gifted and talented programs. So those were the things that I was looking for, because that was what my kid was in at that time. I was trying to find an equivalent or better, because that was the point of the move, to find something better than what we had from up north. So that was for me, but I was like, okay, I'd rather be close to a great school district and drive 45 minutes to work than be close to my job but have them in a crappy school district. So that was for me,
Facts.
But I look at that. I look at if your kids are in sports, you want to see what they're rated as statewide for sports, because they have that as well. If you want to see like the crime of the school or any type, what their success and graduation rate is, all of that is Googleable. I don't know if that's a word or not, but you can just
make it one a day.
Right. And then, or what their test scores are. Look at the ranking of the teachers. Like you can, whatever it is your criteria, because I'm sure that we all look for different things. If your kid is involved in golf, you want to see if that school has a good golf program, or if your kid is involved in a trade or tech program, you want to make sure that school has those type of programs available. But what people don't realize here in Texas, although some of the greatest schools are in the higher income areas, you can still find great schools in not so high income areas.
I'm glad you said that.
Yes, and what people don't know about Texas is, because I didn't know, each city has its own individual school district. So if you live in Little M has its own independent school district. Louisville, Fort Worth, Haltom City, every single one of all of these cities have their own individual school district. Now, Fort Worth and Dallas is the larger of the districts because they're the big cities, but every other city also has their own independent school district. So do your research, because it's there,